What's up, guys? Seha Man here, and we got a special guest today. Today we have the boys from Mondo. We have Peter and we have Hector from Mondo. Now, can you guys give me a little bit of a backstory, or actually what you guys do at Mondo, your job title?
Yeah, well, I'm a senior creative director at the company, and I assist Hector on the collectible side of things and oversee some of our social media, well, really our YouTube stuff, and I'm also an artist and a designer on my own right. So we all wear many hats, as Hector will tell you, right?
Yeah. I'm the senior director of creative and product development at Mondo, and I work closely with Peter, and we kind of oversee a little bit of all the creative at Mondo, but we're primarily overseeing the 3D. But YouTube, all that stuff. I'm also a designer and sculptor and all that kind of stuff too. So
we plan the stuff that we want the company to put out, then we make sure it gets made. Then when it gets made, we get up on screen and talk about it, right? That's like, it sums it up, like the whole supply chain.
We make it all, and then we go. Yeah.
With our team, because we have an awesome team.
Obviously. Yes.
Best team in the business.
I'll be honest with you guys. So I got into Mondo at the end of 2023. I've known about the 1/6 scale stuff. I've known about Mondo. I've known about their vinyls. I have several vinyls, and I have some posters too. But I remember what caught my eye was the original comic book 1/6 scale Turtles. I think I don't know how many years ago that came out. I never picked any of them up, but I also got into, because my Batman's my biggest fan, my superhero. That's my favorite superhero. So I didn't pick him up when he originally came out. I think in 2017, 2018. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, it was a while back. It was definitely around that time. I want to say maybe 2017.
Yeah. Okay, so when you guys got the X-Men license, that's what got me in. And my first one was Wolverine. Wolverine was my first one. So then once I picked that one up, I think right after that, I got Magneto, Sabretooth, Batman, and I went on OfferUp because the Gambit was already out. So I picked up the timed edition of Gambit. And then now I just have, you probably can't see it here, but I got several in the back, and in front of me, I have a Modu case full of all the DC ones right in front of me. And I've just been a fan ever since. And what I was going to say was, I never really paid attention to like sculptors until I started looking at, well, let me see if I have one here, like the box art. That's the thing that's awesome about these figures, is you guys put so much into the packaging. And like I was saying, I never really paid attention to who the sculptors or the artists. I just got the figure, opened it, and then displayed it. But now you guys have me paying attention. I'm following everyone too, and it's like pretty exciting to see like the process, into making these figures.
100%. Let me ask you this, Raph, who's your favorite comic artist of all time?
Okay, so this is Todd McFarlane.
Todd McFarlane, right?
Todd McFarlane, Jim Lee.
Todd McFarlane, Jim Lee, and you probably have a favorite writer, maybe, right? Like, or a couple of writers that you're like, they're writing a book.
Writers that I like, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
The idea is that when you're reading a comic as a fan, you're just there for the story and the art and the experience. It's all one thing, and it's as it should be. Like when the team works out really well, you and me as a fan, I should just open and go, I'm so happy to be doing this right now. And so with figures, it's the same thing. Really, especially now, there's so many people that work on any given figure. And frankly, there's people who work peripherally around it, that not hands-on, but that their roles are so important to this thing arriving on your shelf that and truly, it's been even long before I was at Mondo. Mondo's always been about who are the creators, who are the people who make the thing, and you should be able to know who that is, because they put a lot of their blood, sweat, and tears into this. And as you become more and more versed in this like premium figure space, you start knowing things like, oh, so-and-so is sculpting it. I'm almost guaranteed I'm going to get that thing. Oh, so-and-so's painting it. That's going to look like you know what I mean? So little by little, it's much like when we were comic fans growing up, like, oh, I love so-and-so on pencils, but I hate when so-and-so inks it, but this person's inking it. Oh, okay. That kind of thing is super important. And so Hector's always been great about making sure that roster's on the box. And honestly, Mondo as a company and Funko as it continues to support us doing that. So we continue to do it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we love, a big part of what we do here is trying to pay it forward. And you know, we love to recognize all the artists that are involved. To Peter's point, you know, like when you looked at comics back in the day, it was all about like who's the inker, who's the, you know, who's the colorist, who's the illustrator, right, the writer, all that. So toys is similar. It takes a small army of people to develop any one figure, right? And the stuff at Mondo is no exception, and we like to celebrate it, and we like to celebrate and let people know who worked on it, because these are talented artists, right? It's not just being made in like a vacuum or somewhere where, oh, it just appears, right? It's, you know, someone sitting there doing the concept art. That means they're illustrating, they're drawing, they're doing every single accessory so that we can get that submitted to the studio, and then the studio says cool, right? Then it goes to a sculptor, and that sculptor has to interpret the flat 2D art, right, and turn it into a sculpt, which requires a whole another slew of skills, right? And you have to be, you know, to work here at Mondo and be a part of this team, you have to be really dang good at sculpting. So we like to celebrate our sculptors, especially because I do feel like in the collectibles industry, a lot of the time sculptors aren't celebrated. And
Anonymous.
It's very anonymous, and it's very much just like, oh, X company put this out. Oh, cool, it looks cool, but the artists that are making it are not, you know, celebrated. So that's something that for me, I feel it's always been really important. Same with painting. You know, painting, it's not done as much nowadays in like mass market retail toys. You know, painting is now done like via digital means, and those colors are sent to the manufacturers, and that's how that goes. But here at Mondo, we hand paint everything.
Oh, wow.
With an artist who has a vision and who has a style and who has, you know, a skill set, right? So Mondo, we hand paint everything, all of our prototypes, and then that gets sent to the manufacturer, and that's why you see like the deco and why it looks different than some of the other stuff that's out there.
And I'll say one more thing, which makes it really important to credit artists and creators on boxes is there's someone out there looking at stuff like this, even if they're too young to afford it, because, you know, our stuff's not made for kids' budgets usually. But you could look at a box and go, man, these are real people who work on this thing. You know, there's a world where I could work really hard and do something like this. And for me, that was the most important thing about the comics credits, was that I'm like, look at how many people work on this thing. When my teacher tells me that I should focus on something else because there's no money in this, I can show her this and say there seems to be some money. And so for me, that's a very important aspect of it too, that someone will see it, see the names. Hopefully they watch our streams or meet us in person at conventions. They get to meet the people who are doing it, talk to them, and realize, yes, it's a real thing that you can do and you can aspire to. So that's another aspect to it.
Yeah, that's so I wanted to talk about the 1/6 scales and then kind of move on to the soft vinyl, because I just recently got into the soft vinyl with the turtles.
Yeah, like, they're awesome.
These are awesome. Yeah, but I'll get into that in a second. But I wanted to talk about the 1/6 stuff. So like, how did you guys come up with the designs? Like the box, like what made you want to do like a you know, Velcro opening?
Yeah,
bio, the art, and you got like, you know, this, what would you call this, like the sketches right here?
Yeah, that's a concept art, right?
Yeah, right there in the back you got like, looks like almost like panels,
storyboards, for the show.
Yeah, so I have a great story behind that.
Yeah.
So, you know, when we sought out to do the first one, which was Wolverine in the bed, right, with the picture frame that we did for Comic-Con a few years back. Once we decided that we were going to go beyond that, and it was going to be more than just that version, the creators, the Leewalds, the showrunners from the 1992 series, they've been amazing. And they've been, in fact, I had lunch with them a few days last week. And they let me go to their house, and I combed through their like attic basement, not their basement, but they had like a separate room dedicated that had
dungeon,
boxes and boxes and boxes of all the storyboards.
Oh, wow.
Like the actual storyboard art from the X-Men, the animated series. So that art that you see there for Jubilee on that box, or like on Omega Red or Magneto, on all of our boxes, it's all actual storyboard art.
Oh, okay.
From the show, originally made just for the show. So I combed through a lot of those, right? And then we also work with Dan Vissemeyer, who did the art on the box, like the main picture illustration. And he also has an archive of a ton of the storyboard art as well. So he provides that to us while we're setting it all up. So we really wanted to tie it into that original show, in that it is a love letter to the 92 show, where the actual art you see there is storyboards taken directly from the show. So that was really cool. And then even with Wolverine on the Comic-Con version, the sleeve that you pull it out of is the storyboards of the intro of the show.
Oh wow. I don't have that one, so I don't know how that one looks.
Yeah, so like the sleeve, and you pull it out, and then he's him on a bed, is all of the storyboards from the intro. And I think on the inside of your Jubilee box, the insert, that is also like when you open it.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Can you show me that real quick?
Yeah. Let me take it out. Yeah, because I honestly thought that was going to be one of my questions: is how do you know what to designs to put in the background? Like, what makes you pick that? But it's storyboard, so that makes a lot of
it's really trying to create again, like a full experience. When we're doing any project like this, we're just geeking out about everything and trying to figure out where to put everything. Right? Look at that.
Yep, that's the show intro right there. So if you look closely, you could see it's a lot of the storyboard from.
Is this for every one of them?
Yep.
I've never taken the insert out. I did not know that. That is awesome.
Yeah. It was us trying to really cement the fact that this was it was just, these were figures that are from that show.
Yeah, the tribute, the whole thing. I mean, the whole line, like the desire to do the line, has to come from a place where you're such a big fan of it, because every figure, like Hector said, it's a lot of work to create any one of these. If you're making something you don't care about, you're not interested in, it's gonna be a bummer fast. And so with these things, we love these characters, we love the show, and every box, especially now we're working with one of the most talented people that I've ever met, Jordan Christensen, who's our packaging designer. Everything from how a box opens to what art is on the inside, what art is on the outside, everything is considered to be this aspect to a complete package. When you open it as a fan, you're like, God, this is just, I'm in this moment. Again, it's about the experience. Like, you can get, there's figures at every price point. There's multiple scales of every character. The one thing we want to make sure that we're always doing is, if you spend your hard-earned cash on our stuff, you should know that you're getting a day, a whole day to just unbox this thing, go through everything, the accessories, the Easter eggs. Like, oh man, I remember that accessory. I'm going to go look at the episode where that thing was imported. I go, oh, I forgot about that. All of that. It's basically us geeking out with you through a figure, basically.
Yeah, you know how much I like the box art is the original OG Gambit Potter.
Yeah,
I work in the medical field, so I got a scalpel, and I kind of cut the boxes. And I was supposed to go get a signing from him, because him and Cal Dodd are the only ones I haven't met yet. And but it was during the fires in LA, so I didn't go to the Hollywood. It was called the Hollywood show. So I cut it out, and I was going to have him sign the cover and then frame it. So
they're great pieces for them, and everything is designed to be a standalone piece of artwork. So absolutely.
Well, how do you know what to make a timed edition and what not? Like, as far as accessories go.
I don't know. We're always trying to figure it out.
It's a back and forth, man. Really, I think. I mean, sometimes not to get too in the weeds, but sometimes it's just based on a business decision. That's all.
Sometimes it's about, like, again, like, not to go too far into detail, but sometimes it's about, like, if we're not sure what the audience is, or if we have the ability to open it up for a certain amount of time, or if we don't have that much amount of time. There's all these, like, reasons why it happens, and we're always reviewing and seeing, like, hey, that was the right move, or next time we should try a different thing. But Mondo has this history with, oh crap, am I still here?
Yeah, you're here.
Oh, all these things fell off my thing. Anyway, Mondo has this history of limited editions, sellouts, things being gone, FOMO. And as we grow as a company, we start to realize that sometimes that's the right answer. Sometimes it is, and sometimes it's not. And then sometimes we're right, and sometimes we're not, and so it's just about that. It's a lot more about the business side of things, like Hector said.
Yeah, I tuned into one of your lives, and I think it was the Clayface episode, and you mentioned that there's some fans that buy 2 of certain characters
Yeah.
because of the way like I have 2 Banes and I have 2 Cyclopses because you can totally display them in different ways. You get what I'm saying? Like
totally.
yeah.
Wolverine for me is one of those figures as a fan that I work here, but as a fan, I want 2 of these new Wolverines because there's the masked version is of course all day. I need that, but there's that like shirt ripped like torso with the chest and then the unmasked portrait. I'm like, that's a whole other figure.
Definitely.
That's a whole other figure. And there's enough accessories to like, display them that way. I'm not saying it's like it's an easy thing for every collector to do, but there are justifications, and we pack so much into that box. Even if you're only getting one, you have an opportunity, especially with a nice module case where you just easily take
exactly
off. You have an opportunity, like maybe once every few months, you're like, it's time to get a different look on this thing. It's like a whole new collection, a whole new display.
You guys are going to do different bases pretty soon. I think I heard you say that.
We talked, we are doing some really cool stuff with bases right now in terms of like, so people know our Sentinel bases have become a thing. You'll see more of our X-Men figures have more and more creative bases. We're planning some. I don't know how much we can say. We're planning some really good stuff with one of our other lines. That'll be like it's going to be a standard thing with each figure. That's going to be a very elaborate base, and that should be revealed soon. And in general, we've explored the idea of just creating non-IP specific bases for different figure scales. We haven't gotten to it yet, but it's something that we're really hyped on doing. So, it's something we want to do. We want to do it. And those ideas just, again, they come from us looking at our own collection and being like, you know what I would really love today on this thing? And then figuring out if it's a smart business move to like sometimes it's a great idea, but it might not be a really good business move because it might be something that only me and 3 people want. But sometimes, there's an idea where if I say it or if Hector says it and when the other one's like, oh, definitely. And then we bring it to the larger group and they're like, yeah. And then it comes out. So we think we're close on some stuff like that, but we are exploring it. We do hear fans talk about it all the time. So it's possible in the near future.
Well, here's a big one for me. How do you guys display personally, you guys, your head sculpts, like the extra head sculpts? What do you guys do with it?
We've actually just started personally, I kind of pick, personally, Peter the Collector now, I have like these thin, like these small, like Rubbermaid tubs per figure. And I kind of line them with like a nice soft lining. And then whatever accessory I don't use, I bag up and put there. But it's easy access for me. So when I want to swap parts out, sometimes I'll leave the other pieces out, but it's rare. But we have a 1/6 scale figure coming out super soon, like maybe next week. Right, Hector? Am I wrong about that?
We do. Yeah. We're going to be announcing or teasing on Friday.
Teasing on Friday. And that figure has a really nice solution for the extra head. And so what I'll say is we are conscious of it and we're thinking about what the solution would be there as well, because the truth is they're not all standard pegs. They're not all the same like socket. So there's not like one thing you could just make and sell that would fit everybody.
Right. Each one would have to come with its own custom base or headstand or something like that. So, and our figures come with a lot of heads. So, we don't skip out on the heads. So then it starts to get to a point like, do you want your box to be like much bigger because you have to include 5 headstands and stuff like that? So those little things that we think about. So I can say that we are, considering maybe one headstand and then you can display your secondary favorite and then the rest, however it goes. But we're trying to come up with something.
Yeah. At one point we were talking about like, you gotta be careful how you do it, because if you just create like, I think we saw something in a collector's group somewhere where someone had mounted something on the back of a Detolf that allowed all the heads to be like mounted behind the character. Yeah, but it looked like he had cut his head off 5 times and mounted it like 100. I'm like, maybe that's not the solution. You know what I mean? So there's always like, it's back and forth trying to really nail it, because the second you put something out, everyone's like, that's what you did, or like, so you have to make sure you really think about it and do it right. And you don't want to blow up the prices of everything too. You know,
That's
like Hector's saying, like you add a few extra stands, the box just gets a little bit bigger, shipping goes all the way up, and it's a whole thing.
You ever think about doing like an accessory set kind of thing?
Yeah, we talked about it too. It just a lot of that comes into like, you know, limitations with licensors and stuff like that. So it's not as easy as just saying we're going to do it.
Yeah, believe it or not, there's some companies. Right. Yeah. Believe it or not, there's some companies who are like accessory pack or you can do that, but not in this scale or not in this price point, or it's got to cost at least this much. And we're like, no one's going to pay that much for an accessory pack. So it's like all these things that are just not like, we don't publicly talk about that stuff too much because number one, it's like, no, it's not public information. But number two is like, it's just going to create more confusion and stuff like that. But there are things that we are 100% agreement with, and we're just trying to figure out how to do it right.
Okay. And then as far as like picking for instance, for X-Men, for picking characters, do you have to go through Marvel or Disney?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Everything.
Okay.
They have to approve everything, dude. Like down to, I mean, I'm trying to think of like some of the most like, I don't know, specific thing, but the call outs can be very granular. Like, hey, this one blade of grass in that base is looking a little off. Can you tilt it that way? We're like, okay, you know what I'm saying? Oh, wow. Or like, hey, that character that you're thinking about using, it's not going to be available until next year. And we're like, oh, okay, why? We can't tell you right now. Like, oh, okay. You know, so sometimes there's stuff like that. And different studios have different workflows like that. But yeah, 100%. They are very protective, as they should be. And but they've all been awesome with us, frankly. And Marvel's been so awesome with us because they, you know, there's a lot of Marvel stuff out there, you know what I mean? And they have to be careful. Any studio has to be careful. Like, hey, don't just let every company in the world make a figure of this character, because then there's going to be too much stuff out there and people are going to not buy it all. Then the value goes down of the IP. So it's like, there's so much that goes into this, frankly.
So like for a deluxe figure, for instance, like in the 1/6 scale, would you guys ever do like an Apocalypse or a Juggernaut? Like how big?
I mean, you know, I guess for that one, I'd say, you know, to be determined and keep an eye out. You know, usually if we're going to come out with something that big, we like to showcase it first in person. So like places like, you know, Comic-Con or, you know, some convention that we go to is a good spot to look out for like something crazy like that. Like a 1/6 Apocalypse, which would be pretty huge.
It'd be awesome to do it, you know, and like Hector said, yeah, it's something where we really have to anticipate the collector buy-in because you know you invest up front when you're a toy manufacturer, when you're a company, you know, so like you're like, dang, I want this. I think you want this. Do you think the people want this? And if so, how many people? Is it enough to like cover the whole minimum order of things, right? But man, we've said it a million times. Like the more people support this line and support it early and support it, like, you know, day one pre-orders really help the like change the perspective on our lines. When the more often that happens, the more confident we are to take bigger and bigger and bigger swings. You know, Motu has been one of our most successful lines for a long time, Master of the Universe. And that's where you've seen Battle Cat. You've seen, you've seen Sky Sled, Panther. You've seen, we even created our own character, Scaremare with Scareglow. And that's a big swing. And it was still like, oh, I hope people are down for this because we think it's freaking awesome. But it did super well. So like in Motu, we are feeling very good about continuing to try things that are big hits. And I think with the other lines, we're starting to get there where we're feeling really good.
That's what I was going to ask you, like for accessories, like if you were to make, because you guys are doing the Spider-Man now animated, like if you were to do a Green Goblin, would we get his glider or Hobgoblin?
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Okay.
You have to include the glider with him.
Yeah, it's a must. There's no goblin without the glider. You know, what are you gonna do? Walking around with that outfit?
Yeah.
When's Professor Xavier coming out?
Oh, you're gonna have to stay tuned, man.
Yeah.
Just know, I
Yeah.
think we announced it. We said on one of our recent streams, I think it was we were talking about Wolverine, and we let folks know that like we're working on the core team. Like, you know, a lot of people have been asking, oh, is the core team, you know, are they all going to come? I mean, so my answer
The
to
goal
that
is
we're
everybody,
working
right?
on the core team.
Yeah.
Okay. I got
Yeah,
10
the
minutes
goal-
left with you here.
Yeah, the goal is everybody. The goal is, you know, to fill out the team, you know, and then also not to drop so much so quickly. So people are like, bro, I can't get, now I'm going to have to miss out on somebody because you put too close together the releases, right? So it's like, it's all of those components.
Okay. So going into Batman here, are you ever going to go into like the Batman New Adventures? Are you going to do the Superman eventually? Are we ever going to get a Bruce Wayne with the brown suit?
He's asking all the questions that we can't answer.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to put that out there.
Yeah.
You know what?
Go ahead.
WonderCon, you know, I think
We did Batman Beyond.
Yeah, I saw that. I missed out on it too.
Yeah, WonderCon is coming up at the end of the month. We're going to be there. We're gonna, you know, I think we're having a panel.
Yeah,
we're going to be making some announcements then. So
Okay,
I don't want to spoil.
You should be there, Raph. You should go and show up.
Where do you live, man?
I'm actually in Fullerton, California. I don't know if
you dude, I used to live in Santa Ana in Irvine.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So
dude, go to WonderCon.
He's already in the convention center, dude. He's there.
Yeah.
Like this is one of the booths he's in.
I got press passes, so I'll be there.
Go to the panel, sit front row, and take pictures and post them quickly. There you go.
Definitely. So I wanted to bring up this guy right here, right?
Hell yeah.
So, did you guys do this in this scale to test out like if people were going to buy a Juggernaut figure in the 1/6 scale, or does it just
No,
it
was a lot less calculated, honestly. Like we have. So Hector and I, you know, among other things, we are big soft vinyl collectors. You can see behind him.
Yeah.
You know, and most soft vinyl that we collect usually anchors and centers around Japanese characters like Godzilla, you know, Ultraman stuff. There's a lot of like the influence is Japanese. And so over time, it's because we're Godzilla fans, we got into that. But now we're like, man, this is just a great like figure to hold. Soft vinyl just feels good. It's hard to explain it to people until they do it. And then we started, you know, realizing and finding that we had the license to create soft vinyl figures in other IP, not just Godzilla. And so Marvel was one of them. Marvel, we released the Werewolf by Night figure. Man Thing was the first one.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and it was super successful. Everybody loved it. Both designed by James Groman. And then, you know, we were sitting around in our toy meet, our figure meeting, our sculptors, painters, our whole department meeting on Fridays. Like it's like our happy hour, I always say. And we just kind of kick ideas around. And we talked about, man, wouldn't it be cool to just be like do a big chunky Juggernaut, like soft vinyl? Just don't overthink it. Just like that big block of a silhouette. And one of our sculptors, Tommy Hodges, he's like, I got it. I'm going to handle that. And in a week, he already had a mock-up. And we're like, nice. Oh my God, it's so good. So it wasn't thought of. We didn't think of how it relates to the figure, the 1/6 line. We didn't think about how it doesn't relate. We just wanted it. We just wanted it out there. And what's been great about that figure, the same with Scare Glow with our Master of the Universe line, is this is a character and a silhouette and a design that a true X-Men fan goes like, I need that. Yeah. Or a true He-Man fan goes, I need that. And then you get to have a soft vinyl figure. And like I saw your video, you know, you had the same reaction that we have when we get them. It brings joy. It's hard. It's like 4 points of articulation. There's no like or less. There's no like double jointed elbows. It's not about that. This is creating art with the designs of the X-Men or Marvel or Juggernaut in this case, and designer vinyl toys as an influence. And just using that kind of like mashup to create something fun, honestly. And that's where that came from. Now, it does look good with the 1/6 scale X-Men, but that wasn't intended.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you guys put up Street Sharks.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's another thing. Awesome. Like, yeah, no. And it's another situation where, you know, with soft vinyl, you still get tons of great detail, like incredible texture, like the jeans on Ripster are going to blow people's brains out.
I have them here.
You got one right there?
Oh, nice. Yeah. If you guys want
to see it. If we can, I want to see it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, let me.
Yeah, that thing's awesome. I mean, the
mouth is articulated.
No, but they're swappable
Oh.
faces. So you
I
just pull
didn't
the
know
whole
that.
face. Yeah,
I
yeah,
didn't know that.
yeah.
Whoa. That
So
is
it's a
nuts.
big boy. It's
That is
10
nuts.
inches, but like it's 70% head on that thing.
Basically.
You
So
know?
he's got some articulation here in the waist. His arms articulate, and then his head. This is a prototype, so I don't want to break it.
No,
His
yeah.
head is swappable with the open mouth head.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So it'll just be like a swap that you can just pull off this end, and then you can pop this one in.
Yeah.
So
And you
it's
got to see the
really cool.
pictures on the website. Like you can
I
see
saw
like the taste buds are sculpted in. You know what I mean?
Basically,
And so,
you can see it in his tongue.
Yeah. It's the perfect like in between of a super high-end statue and a super articulated figure. Like in between, soft vinyl is that it's got the presence of a statue, some articulation, but you don't have to worry about picking it up and holding it, because if you drop it, it's gonna be fine. You put it back on the shelf. It's not a resin statue. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and soft vinyl, like they're just fun to pick up and play with, right? Like I love just grabbing them and like moving them around and looking at them. You can do a lot more with the sculpt without having to worry about articulation breaks, right? Because when you're doing really articulated figures, a lot of the sculpt can sometimes be compromised because of that. So
you're gonna see lines and hinges and joints.
Yeah, we keep it very straightforward, and it's really about the sculpt and then the paint coming through, right? More than anything. Ooh, I almost dropped them.
Yeah, and potentially with soft vinyl, it's also about the variants, right? So like you see like these Godzillas here, like it's awesome if you're a soft vinyl collector. Some people just collect like one sculpt in every color, and that has its own.
Yeah, you can
presence.
see it behind me. I have like 5 different Space Godzillas and so on. Like it's just kind of the fun part about it.
Yeah.
He said I can ask 2 more questions.
Yeah, go for it.
Let me pick here what I want to ask. There's a lot of stuff I want to ask you guys, but one of them, because I know somebody was asking me, are we ever going to get a re-release of Mr. Freeze?
I've been saying like we probably should think about it, honestly, because
we'll see. Right now
right?
It's not planned, but we'll see how it goes.
Would the original people who bought them get mad? I say I don't know. And but
make it different, don't know.
Yeah, you could probably figure some things out. It's not a top priority. Like the cool thing of doing those noir figures is like you can still get the sculpt in your collection. But yeah, I hear about it all the time. People want them. I don't even own traditionally colored the original release. Yeah, so I want one, but but like Hector said, it's not like something that's planned and prioritized right now.
So the last question is a couple. I'm gonna make it a 2-parter.
Go for it.
One of it is I was going to ask you guys if you ever thought about doing your own figure and selling it to Mondo, and then I just saw one of your posts today about
Takaro.
Yeah, that is freaking sick.
Yeah. So Takaro is my own character I designed while at Skybound Entertainment, Robert Kirkman's company, and we did a big Kickstarter there. There was a black and it's my art style, which is like carved linoleum block print, so it has like all that texture and like those little wood carving cuts. But this color variant is a Mondo exclusive. Hector actually led this project even before I was working at Mondo. So it has that Mondo feel. It's got all the great stuff you would think of with our soft vinyl stuff, and great colors and all that kind of stuff. It's got articulation. Just like a Mondo figure. So it's awesome. And this is a variant that we sold at Mondo. And there is one more variant coming. So you can keep your eyes peeled for that, a different colorway. But yeah, we have full permission to do that stuff. It just comes down to making sure it is worthy of the effort and not just like doing it because we want to stroke our own ego, right? Like it's got to be a great idea. It's got to be something that we think is deserving of people's hard-earned cash. We're very sensitive to that stuff, and we don't want to just put stuff out just to put it out. It has to be something that we're like really proud of. But I think you'll see more of it soon.
Okay, and then
this is it, Irving. Don't get mad at him.
The turtle packaging for the vinyls, right?
The great Aaron Conley
card. You guys had an extra card on this. Is there in the future, because they look so good on card?
Mm-hmm.
And plus, I open them. I'm a out of box collector, and it depends. I'm a vintage collector too, though. But would you ever do resealable packaging?
Yeah, I think when it came to this first round, we wanted to get them out there. We wanted to have that really kind of vintage vibe. You know, I really wanted it to feel like an homage to the original releases of the 80s and 90s, right? So we didn't really plan for resealable packaging at that time. But you know, moving forward, it depends. I do love how they look on the cards. However, some of the villains are giant, and they're gonna be giant compared to
Ray
the
Fillet
Turtles.
is already in a box.
Ray Fillet,
There you go.
So as you can see, Ray Fillet in and of itself, even though he's like the same height of the Turtles, he's bigger, and he comes with more stuff. So you're gonna see a bit more of the boxes like this too. And when we can, we may do more card backers.
I don't even see when we're gonna do another card. All the ones that we're designing are big boys. Like there's
one
like
more. There's the villain that's coming with a card. Baxter that we put out.
Yeah, that's true.
That we put out. He comes with a card backer,
and it's a different card, by the way. It's a totally different card.
Nice, good.
It's a villain's card, so it's really cool. I love it. I like that one more actually than the Turtles one. But and then so you'll see a similar fashion with some of the bigger pieces. Like we announced Super Shredder last.
I saw that.
There's no card big enough.
So he's coming soon, and he's giant. So he'll be in a box similar to Ray Fillet.
Perfect.
Yeah,
stuff like that. So yeah, it'll vary per size of the turtle, but I hope to include more card backers in the future, but we'll see. We'll see how it works.
Yeah, I mean, these things are just the real question, Raph. You should have asked. I'll tell you what you should have asked. Is who's coming next after Baxter? Too late. You can't ask that now.
I had a list right here of questions right here.
You chose. And then the other question, the other question is, when are we going to see that freaking art on the back of the card as a full screen print? Because it's like that to me is my dream hangout party. If you see the artwork on the back of the cards, like it's the crazy. Turtles in the sewer with all the friends hanging out, pizza party. So I will give you the answer to that one. And the answer is soon, very soon.
What about a book for Marvel? Will we get a book?
No, I can't answer. You had your two questions. That was it. Unfortunately, it's not me. It's Irving. Have you seen this guy? He'll put me in a headlock.
That's no problem. That's no problem. Okay, so you guys will be at WonderCon then. We'll see you guys at WonderCon. Can we buy anything there? Is it going to be an exclusive?
Hell yeah, you should. It'd be crazy if you didn't.
In fact, yes, okay. We will have some exclusives there. One of which I think you'll be really stoked on. But we're gonna have some online drops and as well, but stay tuned to our Mondo channels for the full announce coming in the next few weeks or so.
Awesome. Thank you guys. I don't want to take any more of your time.
Thanks,
man. I appreciate you guys for hopping on.
Our pleasure. We'll do it again, man, for sure. Yeah, and thank you for all the coverage. It's been awesome.
Yeah, that's no problem. I'll keep it going.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right, thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you guys thumbs it up and share the video. We're also going to be hopefully doing another one in the future, and hopefully I'll get to talk to the guys at WonderCon. But if you guys do want to pick up any Mondo-related items, make sure you guys use my link in the description down below for Big Bad Toy Store or Entertainment Earth, and you guys can pick yourself up some Mondo merch. Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.